In the heart-pounding, suspense-filled film, an unsuspecting family finds themselves at the center of a terrifying ordeal that could determine the fate of the world. Imagine you went with your family to a remote cabin to meet some mysterious strangers with apocalyptic visions. Can you confront your deepest fears and make unthinkable sacrifices? What follows is an edge-of-your-seat thriller that will keep you guessing until the very end. Hey guys, and welcome back to Synopsis Kings. In today's video, we will be watching the movie Knock at the Cabin. 7-year-old Wen is playing outside the remote cabin she is sharing with her parents, Eric and Andrew. Wen is playing innocently, collecting grasshoppers in a jar in the woods. A big man named Leonard approaches Wen and makes an effort to be her friend and help catch some grasshoppers for her. He then explains that he needs her and her parents' help to save the world. He also tells her that Leonard is there to do something that he will regret. Wen becomes suspicious when 3 other people, Sabrina, Adriane, and Redmond, appear out of the woods armed with heavy, improvised, large, and sharp weapons. Alarmed, Wen runs back to the cabin to alert her family, Eric and Andrew, about the outside intruders. Leonard knocks on the door and tells them that they came for a specific task and need to speak to them. The family desperately starts to lock the doors and windows, but the intruders manage to get into the cabin by breaking the windows. Eric gets into a fight with Sabrina, but he falls and loses consciousness, while Andrew fights and beats Redmond. The intruders, however, manage to tie the family. The movie shows a brief flashback where Eric and Andrew briefly meet Andrew's parents, McKenna Kerrigan and Ian Merrill Peaks, and the awkward silence between them suggests that they are not accepting of their son's sexuality in the same way that Eric's mother is. Eric assures Andrew that they will stay together despite Andrew's parents' reaction and the fact that they only spent 45 minutes at their house after a 7-hour drive. Flash forward to the cabin, and we see Eric and Andrew are tied up. To calm Wen, the intruders turn on the TV and put on cartoons. Eric is suffering from a concussion and complains about being sensitive to light and having poor vision, and Sabrina tries to help with his wounds. The intruders start by introducing themselves and what they do. Redmond works in sanitation, Sabrina is a nurse, Adriane is a line cook, and Leonard coaches children's basketball. They claim they have never met before and have no intention of harming the family, but they have been experiencing visions of doomsday and an unknown force to find the family. According to them, the family has been chosen to deliver a sacrifice to ensure humanity's survival. The intruders foresee an impending apocalypse in which Leonard claims the oceans will rise, a pandemic will spread, the sky will fall, and darkness will envelop the earth unless the family makes a sacrifice to save humanity. If the family doesn't make a sacrifice, they will survive the apocalypse, but they will be the last people alive. They are told that they cannot kill themselves to protect their loved ones. The family is adamant that they don't want to make any sacrifices. The intruders continue by declaring that mankind is being judged. Sabrina moves in front of Eric as the sun shines off a mirror in his direction. He seems to see something in the reflection. Redmond steps forward, puts a white mask over his head. Adriane and Sabrina stab him in the head with their weapons, and Leonard finishes him off by decapitating him. Eric and Andrew's initial adoption of Wen is shown in a second flashback. She had a cleft palate at birth, but it was surgically repaired. To bring everyone up to speed on what's been going on in the present, Leonard turns on the TV to show the family media reports from around the world that many people have lost their lives as a result of recent severe earthquakes and tsunamis around the world. Leonard switches on the television to show the family the media reports and the devastation around the world, including the numerous fatalities caused by strong earthquakes and tsunamis that have occurred in different regions of the world. Andrew believes that Redmond is the man who once attacked him at a pub, and he thinks they are being targeted because they are a gay couple. However, the intruders insist they are here for their vision. Wen makes an attempt to flee through the basement, but Leonard finds her and drags her inside. The following day, Adriane prepares Wen's breakfast. The following morning, Adriane steps forward to present her case to the family, reminding them to make a decision. She tells them that about her son Charlie, she repeatedly sees his death, hearing his screams non-stop in her visions. She begs the family to take that into consideration when making their decision, but Andrew continues to say no. Sabrina and Andrew beat and beheaded Adriane, similar to what they did to Redmond earlier. When the news came on, reports of a fatal virus spreading and affecting children made Andrew believe that the intruders were lying to them when he realized the report was pre-recorded, as he has been reading about the virus for months. Eric's hands are becoming less tightly bound. He tells Andrew that they might have an opportunity to escape. Again, Leonard and Sabrina try to talk to Eric and Andrew, but Eric asks Wen to go crazy in order to divert the attention of the other two, allowing Eric to cut himself free and giving Andrew an opportunity to run to the car to get his gun. Sabrina tried to stop him, but he managed to throw dirt in her face. As he tries to load the gun, Sabrina manages to break in and lightly stab him in the side. Andrew manages to fire his gun, which forces Sabrina to drop her weapon. Get ready for another flashback. This one shows the attack at the bar with a bearded man that looks like Redmond. He said he was in prison, which helped him with his self-defense skills and buying a gun to protect himself. Flash forward again. Andrew makes it back to the cabin and threatens Leonard. He is frightened when Sabrina runs in and shoots her, causing her to die. After she dies, Leonard wastes no time and beheads her. Guess he enjoys that. Andrew goes to Redmond's body and grabs his wallet. Redmond's real name was Rory O'Bannon, confirming that he was indeed his attacker at the bar. Andrew, holding the gun, orders Leonard to go to the bathroom. He wants to take the intruder's car to escape since they slashed the family's car's tires. Shortly after, Leonard manages to break the bathroom window. The family thought he managed to escape to take his car, leaving them behind. Andrew opens the bathroom door and shoots into the shower to make sure Leonard is not hiding. He shoots Leonard in the arm, but he still manages to attack him. Leonard manages to disarm Andrew and force the guys to turn the TV back on after a brief battle. Thousands of planes suddenly crash to the ground, all across the world as hundreds of carriers start having technical failures. When Andrew hears Leonard repeating the anchor woman's comments, he now believes that the whole report was scripted. Leonard informs Eric and Andrew as he leads them outside that they still have one final opportunity to stop these disasters. Eric asks when to wait for rescue in a treehouse. Leonard tells them they have only a few minutes to choose before it's too late, and then he cuts his neck when it's evident they still won't choose. A huge storm begins brewing, with lightning hitting the ground and various trees, and more planes start falling from the sky. Eric and Andrew go back inside the house, and Eric reveals that he has started to think that the intruder's visions were real, as he tells Andrew about the man he saw in the sun's reflection. He saw that each of the intruders stood for a different quality of humanity. Redmond was malice, Adriane was nourishment, Sabrina was health, and Leonard was guidance. They had to die since they were the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. They were the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and their deaths were necessary. Andrew challenges Eric as he appears prepared to make the ultimate sacrifice, claiming that humanity is not worth rescuing because they despise and reject people like him and Eric. Then Eric tells Andrew about another vision he saw. Andrew, growing old, remains close to Gwen, who has found a job she is proud of and a partner who loves her as much as she loves them. Now Eric is at peace after realizing this, and grabs Andrew's hand before shooting himself. Andrew, of course, is sad, and after he briefly mourns Eric, he goes to look for Gwen at the treehouse. The two walk in the forest until they come across the truck that the intruders arrived in. Andrew discovers evidence in the backseat showing the intruders' identities, with the exception of Redmond, were really who they claimed to be. Sabrina worked as a nurse, Leonard was a beloved coach, and he finds a photo of Adriane and Charlie. Gwen and Andrew drive the car to a diner, where we see a crowd gathered to watch the news of the disasters coming to an end. Planes are now landing safely, and the virus's death toll is declining. We see Andrew and Gwen leaving the diner towards an uncertain future. While Knock at the Cabin contains symbolism and a heartfelt message, it does not have a big twist. They purposefully left it unclear at the end as to whether or not the world will indeed end. However, you are left wondering, what would I have done in this situation?